Okay, this is our next session after we learned the a ah, and we learned the g, j, and the ah, o, u. I should say the a ah, the k, s, and the d, the f, the g, j, the ah, o, u. We're going to continue with three more. Actually, two more phonograms, but three more letters. Okay? We're going to learn in this session our first two-letter phonogram. But first, I want to remind you about how to hold the pencil. For the preschool, they can try to hold the pencil, but don't put it to paper. Just put it up into your imaginary paper. Okay? So your thumb will be right below right below, and you start right where the pencil shaving starts with the paint, and the second finger will be like on top of that, like a vise, and then you actually will squeeze your second finger, third finger, to your pencil, and then you have it look like this. You can see it pretty good that way. And then this is how you're going to write. With your a-ah, we would start at the 2 on your imaginary paper, of course. Go up and around, down to the 9, down to the bottom line 6, and back up to the 2, and pull your line straight down to the base line. Pick up your pencil, and this is the a-ah. We could put one here, the a-ah. It's fun. It's fun for the adults to learn how to hold their pencil again, and it's fun for the children to hold their pencil. And if the preschooler or pre-reading class student cannot hold it yet, that's okay. You might want to use a color. Yes, for little hands, to use a bigger piece there. So I'll put this right here. Let's go over our phonograms officially. This is the a, ah, ah. To write it, you start where? Start at the 2, go up and around to the 12, down and around to the 6, back up to the 2, pull your line straight down to the baseline, and this is the ah. Ah. For the second phonogram is the k, s, k, s, k, s. You start with the 2, go up and around the clock face to the 12, down and around to the 6, back up again to the 4, and this is the, pick up your pencil, this is the k, s, k, s. And the next one is the d, one sound, d, d. Start at the 2, go up and around the clock face to the 12, down around to the 9, down to the 6, back up again to the 2, and don't pick up your pencil. Make your line go straight up to the top where the clouds are, and then retrace that line back down and going straight down to the baseline. Then you pick up your pencil, and this is the what? D, d, d. That last one sounds almost like 2. Now yesterday we learned the Put your mouth together and blow air. On this one, you start at the top where the clouds are, and top where the clouds are is at the 2 for the top for a tall part. Go from the 2 up to the 12, back around to the 10. Straight down to the baseline, pick up your pencil, and right above the flower line, the broken line in the middle, you make a line in the direction of writing, roll to reading. A short line, pick up your pencil, and this is called a cross. Okay. And this is called, the whole letter is the sounds of one sound. Okay, so we've done the a, ah, the k, the d, the f. Let's try the next one. Let's do it up here, the bigger letter. We'll start at the 2, go up and around the clock face, down and around to the 6, back up to the 2, pull our line straight down for a short letter to the baseline, and then go a little bit below. We start with the idea of the clock face at the 4, go down to the 5, down to the 6, this one's flattened down a little bit, go up to the 7, and then up to the 8, which would be where the 4 started, and pick up your pencil of the clock face that's right below, and this is in the line below, but you don't touch the line below. We call it the mud for the young children. And this is called the 2 sounds of g, j, g, j, g, j, g, j. Okay, so this is a f, and this is a g, j. The next line, the next phonogram we learned was the a, o, u. Big ah, medium o, and little bitty oo. Ah, o, oo. Okay? Start at the 2, go up and around the clock face, down to the 6, and back up to the 2. And this is, pick up your pencil, and this is ah, o, oo. Ah, o, oo. Okay, so now we're ready to learn new letters. We're going to learn new letters where? We're going to learn new letters here. So let me go over the strokes again for you just one more time. The strokes for the tall part starts at the clouds. Pull your line straight down to the base line where the grass is. Pick up your pencil, and that's a tall part, or the line that goes from the clouds all the way to the grass. This is for the short letter. It starts with the flowers. Starts at the flowers, and pull your line straight down to the grass or the baseline. Pick up your pencil, and that's the stroke for the short letter. The stroke for the slant starts at the broken line also, or the flowers, and it slants in the direction of writing, roll to reading down. Goes down to the baseline where the grass is. Pick up your pencil, and that's the slant. The cross is right above the broken line of the flowers. You start right above where you can see it, and you pull your line in the direction of writing, roll to reading from left to right, just a little ways. This one, did we do that? So we start right here after you have your line, and you start right here, and you go in the direction of writing, roll to reading, and then you pick up your pencil, and completely that's the okay. The next one is the clock face. Start the 2, go where? Where do you go? And back where? And then pick up your pencil. A new one would be a dot. A dot is placed right where the cross is, a little bit above the flowers. The dot would be just one dot with your pencil or just one touch with your finger to show where the pencil would go. And this would be for, I think only it's for the short letters, not for the tall letters. And this is a comma. The comma is like a curve going from the 2 to the 3 to the 4. So your clock face would be right here to use that curve idea of a clock face. And there's another one that I'll go ahead and talk to you and tell you about right now. On the bottom of this letter right here, which is going to be our first 2-letter phonogram, there's a line that goes below the baseline, and then you, instead of going from top to bottom, slanting down, you'll slant up, and you'll slant just a little ways. You'll slant up from the bottom of the line up a tiny ways to in the direction of writing, road, or reading to show a flag. So this is what they call the flag. And another one is the line below, which is also on the last phonogram, which is its first 2-letter phonogram. And you know, right here we have this line, straight line, parallel line that goes, is a cross that goes above the middle, straight. This one is not the cross. We call it a line that marks the phonograms to say this is 2 letters that you say, when you see these 2 letters, you say this sound, okay? And so this is to underline these 2 letters for a 2-letter phonogram or a 4-letter phonogram. And you start right in front of the beginning of the phonogram, right below the line. You go in the direction of writing, roll, or reading, parallel, just like you do the cross. It is the opposite idea. And then you stop at the very end of the phonogram that you're pronouncing the sounds from. So let's go over these 3 letters, which will be actually 2 phonograms. This is the first phonogram, and this is the second phonogram. And I should write them up here for you. So we'll have to make more room. And just for a quick one, officially I should be getting rid of all of these phonograms. And you can do this with your board work, which is kind of fun because it doesn't take as long as it would be on paper, or even on a whiteboard. This is a little bit faster. It's all going away here. Okay, so now we'll start with our next 2 phonograms. Our first phonogram is going to be, well, I should show it to you. It starts at the 2, but we have to use a clock face. This one's going to have 2 clock faces. So we start at the 2 for the first clock face, and it's going to be kind of small. Go up and around to the 12 and down to the 10. Now we're going to cross all the way down to the 4. Doesn't look too good on the big lines, but that's how you do it officially. And then from the 4 down to the 5 and to the 6 and back up to the 8. Pick up our pencil, and this is the phonogram that says zzz, zzz. And so when you don't do well on the first one, because for different reasons. You try again. So let me try again. We start at the 2, I'll go a little bit further down this time, and we go up and around to the 12, down to the 10, make my clock face a little bit bigger, and round it out a little bit more, slide from the 10, slide it down to the 4, round it out a little bit more, and then we'll go back up to the 8. That looks a little bit more like a zzz. A little bit punchy back here. So if you have problems, you just keep on trying to do again. But of course, as a preschooler, you would just be putting your finger on the line where it starts at the 2. We go up and around the clock face to the 12, down around to the 10, pull a line down to the 4, curve it out a little bit, and go down to the 6, back up on your little second clock face, up to the 8. So you have a clock face here, and you have a clock face here. Okay, let's try it again. It's kind of like a racetrack. Okay, start with the 2, go up and around the clock face to the 12, down to the 10, round it out some, and pull a line down to the 4, round it out some, and go down to the 6, and back up to the 10, pick up your pencil, and this has 2 sounds to it. It says, the first sound says s, the same sound as the second sound of k, but this first sound is s. The second sound is actually the same sound, except you put your voice to it. Zzz. The second sound says zzz. The first sound is s, and the second sound is zzz. S. The second sound you would do the same s, but you put your voice sound to it. Zzz. So you hear a little hissing sound, plus you hear the voice. Okay? So to make the s, you put your tongue at the top of your mouth in the front of your teeth, and you push the air out and make a little hissing sound, s, just like you do the second sound for the k, s, which is the k, s. The k, s is like this, but this one is s. It's going to be s, z, s, z. Okay, so it looks a little bit like a snake, and it sounds like a snake. S, z, s, z, s, z. Okay? It needs practice, I can tell, even for me, but mainly it's because the different sizes that you make it in to make a prejudgment of what it looks like. The second phonogram, which has 2 letters, it's our first 2-letter phonogram. It has a clock face, so that's why all the letters that have a clock face are the first ones that we learn. So we start at the 2, go up and around to the 12, down to the 10, down to the 6 with the bass line, back up to the 2. Notice I'm making more of an X shape than I used to. And then our line goes straight down to the bass line, and then it goes a little bit below, and we're going to put what we're calling a flag on the end. Okay? It starts with the beginning, with the end of the line that goes a little bit below into the mud, and then we pull the line, slant it up in the direction of writing or the reading. Pick it up, your pencil, and this is the beginning, but we can't call it a sound yet because it needs another letter to make it a 2-letter phonogram sound. The next one actually starts with a line and has a clock face on the bottom. Starts with a line top, just like our stroke does here. Pull the line straight down, and you're close because the line can start close to a clock face whereas a clock face a letter cannot start close to another letter. And then about right here, we're going to have a clock face, and it's going to go from the 8 over to the 4. So we go from the 8 down to the 6 and up to the 4, and then we go straight up. Then we retrace our line straight down to the baseline. We pick up our pencil, and there's one more stroke that we need to put on this, and that would be our line below the two-letter phonogram. It only goes on the two-letter phonograms at first anyways. So we kind of start where the phonogram starts, and the line below goes in the direction of the writing row to reading, left to right, the direction that we read, and it doesn't stop until we get to the end of the phonogram. We pick up our pencil, that's kind of loose there, and this phonogram makes one sound. It makes the sound of K and W. It makes the sound of K and W. So you haven't learned how to say the K sound yet, but it makes a k, a k, R and a W. So you make a k with your mouth. And that might be something that your children will learn later, but you can go ahead and start practicing now. One sound that says don't feel it in my throat. Okay? This first phonogram sound we did was I need to put this down here. S, z, s, z, s, z, s, z. The second phonogram, we have two letters, has one sound. It says k. So you put the sounds k and wa together without the voice, whispering sound.